What's up, y'all? This is the Platinum Experience podcast with Platinum J. I am Renee Nicole, and we are about to hop into these rapid questions.
Coffee or tea to kickstart your creativity?
Ooh, so I'm trying to wean myself off of coffee. However, coffee's gonna kickstart my creativity all day.
One word to describe your time in Los Angeles.
Memorable. One to never forget. Oh, you said one word. Memorable.
I did. Favorite comedy movie of all time?
Can I give you my top five?
I'll take it.
Okay. Coming to America.
Mm.
Brown Sugar is my favorite of all time. The Wood. Guilty Pleasure. The Wedding Planner. And did I say Coming to America?
You did.
I said Coming to America. Top four.
Not the second one? You don't care for the second?
Oh God. Moving on.
All right. Early bird or night owl when working on a project?
Early bird. Early bird gets the worm, they say.
They do. The funnest thing that happened behind the scenes of any show you've ever worked on?
You say funnest? The most fun thing that's ever happened. Ooh. Okay, so I wrote a script for a web series and we did a boxing scene. And just seeing how that all, like, we were in an actual boxing ring and seeing how that all set up and all played out, it was pretty crazy. It was a little scary because, trying to make a boxing scene work in a web series takes a lot more than you would think. But yeah, that was a cool experience.
Quick, name a better duo than peanut butter and jelly.
I can name a lot of better duos because I don't eat peanut butter and jelly. I would say anything seafood and Old Bay. I'm from Maryland. Tea and honey, coffee and almond milk. There's a lot of better duos.
All right. The most unusual inspiration for your content?
Jesus. Yeah.
One podcast you always listen to, no matter how big.
I have a few podcasts that I love. Can I give you a few? Okay, I'm going to.
Yeah.
Deadass with Deval and Kadeen Ellis. I love Here's the Thing with Kevin on Stage and that chick Angel. And I love Market Mondays with Rashad and I'm throwing a blank. Troy. Rashad and Troy. Yes.
Okay. If you could have any guest to star on your podcast, what would it be? Or who would it be?
Ooh, you know who I love? I love Jasmine Guy. I love Whitley. I think she killed that role. And watching her on interviews now, she's hilarious. So I would love to sit down and talk to her.
The weirdest fan interaction?
I've been the fan and I've had weird interactions. Okay. And because of that, I don't approach celebrities anymore. I was a crazy AI fan. Like, I was obsessed with Allen Iverson. I loved him. I love basketball, but I was more in love with him. And this is an embarrassing story. When I lived in Atlanta, AUC, they have these big homecoming events, and he was there just walking in the crowd. May have had a little bit too many to drink, and long story short, security had to tell me to back up. Yeah, I was the crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So with that being said, though, the follow-up question: what's your favorite?
I don't watch anymore. I don't watch NBA. I don't watch basketball like that. I would say I just watched the Giannis documentary, and I have a whole new respect for him. So I would say him. I would say Milwaukee. Yeah. Milwaukee Bucks. I couldn't even tell you their record. I don't even know who else is on the team. But I like Giannis.
All right. That's a rapid question.
Hey.
Welcome to the Platinum Experience podcast.
Let me start over. I'm sorry. I was going. My bad. All right, I'm ready.
Welcome to the Platinum Experience.
I'm sorry. These are the bloopers.
I know. Welcome to the Platinum Experience podcast, your exclusive backstage pass. I'm your host, Platinum J, and today I have a very, very special guest, Miss Renee Nicole Gibson.
Can you do that over?
You want to say the whole thing? Wow, Gibson.
I just said Renee Nicole. You don't have to say Gibson. I don't use my last name. You just you don't use the ring.
Okay. I have a special guest today. Her name is Renee Nicole.
Snapping.
What's up, Renee Nicole?
What's up, Platinum J?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm so blessed. God is good all the time.
All the time?
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
And all the time?
God is good.
Okay, you better know.
I just saw it on the Breakfast Club recently.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Candace Owens.
I saw that.
It was a little iffy.
It was bad.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say I appreciate you taking the time out to finally be here. You know.
Yes, I'm happy to finally be here. I'm proud of you for what you're doing. I know.
Appreciate it.
I have a podcast, so I know this is no easy feat. The fact that you're doing is the biggest thing. Yeah. So congrats.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And then we're definitely going to dive into yours as well because Name a Better Duo is dope. I love that name. I think it's very, very creative. And you are a creative person. So we're going to dive into all of that. But let's take the crowd back a little bit. So how long have I known you?
Oh, sheesh. So me and your oldest younger sister have been best friends since 6th grade. So that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Yeah. It's been a minute.
A while ago.
Nah. Yeah,
Since
definitely.
we were young.
Youngins, man. Well, you always been good peoples to me, my sister, the family in general. So I always, appreciate you. Yeah, James, your cousin. That's my man. That's my boy. Set out James. Hoopers. You know what I'm saying? But man, just overall, as me knowing you for as long as I've known you, to watch your growth. But my thing that I really appreciate about you is that you took chances on yourself. So what I mean by that is like, high school, you graduated, you was like, man, I'm moving here. Man, I'm gonna try here because not a lot of people have that courage to just get up and move unless it was in the military or something like that. I feel like, you know, you then kind of knew what path you wanted to go on, but you went to these places to verify that. You know what I mean? So just seeing you doing what you do and where you did it at is very, very impressive. So I just want to say, just looking at you and your journey and how you just took a chance on yourself is very important. I think a lot of people, a lot of women, don't do that. And you probably, if I'm being honest, man, you might be one of the first woman that I know has done that in the sense of going for what they really want to do and doing something about it. And you going to and moving to not like you're not staying for a couple months, you're staying for a couple years, and then you're going on to the next, trying to figure out what your experiences and what you want to do for yourself. So I think that's pretty dope.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I will say, like, I've always known that I wanted to explore. I've always known that I wanted to get outside of my environment, go beyond what was considered home to Maryland.
Yeah.
Atlanta was somewhere I always wanted to go, so that was the first place I went when I graduated college. And for whatever reason, God put in my spirit at Los Angeles, and that became my new home. But I'm not gonna say that didn't come without sacrifices, and there are certain things that I had to, sacrifice in order to live this different lifestyle. But it definitely came with rewards as well.
So. Do you feel like let's talk about Atlanta for a second? With Atlanta, what was your first impression of Atlanta when you first got there?
It's funny because I've always felt like a Southern girl at heart. We both have roots in Fayetteville. My dad's family is from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and so I've just always loved the South. And for whatever reason, Atlanta seemed like the place to go. And so I did, and I felt like I lived in Atlanta 3.5 years. I lived in LA 5.5, and Atlanta still feels like my second home. Like it's us. Everywhere I went, everywhere I worked, it was young, successful Black people, and it was a beautiful thing to witness.
I ain't gonna lie. When we went out there for the TV show, The Rap Game, and my first experience, just seeing the people, the food, the energy, I was like, man. And I think I counted one time in a year we was there 17 times after we lived there for a couple months just to shoot it and just going back and forth. I was like, Atlanta's like my second home because at this point I know where everything's at. Oh, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go to Peachtree, we're gonna do this. So Atlanta is definitely a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's definitely, as they call it, Black Hollywood.
It is definitely Black Hollywood. Yeah. It's definitely.
And what was your first impression of LA when you got there?
It was just like a breath of fresh air. Like I remember I had
excuse me.
Bless you. I had
Mhm,
shipped my car, so I rented a car and I was
mhm,
on probably the 101 highway because I lived in the valley at the time.
mhm.
And I remember just seeing the mountains, and
Yeah,
it looks like you could touch it. Like it looks like artwork. It's
yeah,
like God's canvas in real
yeah.
life, you know.
LA is
So
amazing.
it just was a breath of fresh air. It was
Mhm.
February. I moved, I think February 4th, and it was
Great.
85 degrees
Yeah,
outside. So
yeah,
it was definitely just like a
yeah,
vibe. I could never stay in a bad mood there because the
yeah.
sun was always shining. I mean, it rained, unlike Tony says, it does rain in Southern
It
California,
definitely
but
does.
not like
No,
here.
LA is amazing. I think my first experience out there was incredible. I got a chance to view different places, the beaches, and just the scenery. It's definitely different, obviously between the two,
Hmm.
LA and Atlanta. But LA also just gives you a different vibe.
Yeah.
Definitely gives you a different vibe. Everybody is something out there, right? You could,
Hmm.
hey, it's Clark. Oh, but I'm an actress, or I'm
Oh
a
yeah.
model. I'm a working model. I'm a dancer.
It's so funny because Los
Yeah,
Angeles is so expensive,
yeah.
but no one has a real job in LA.
No,
Like everyone is
nobody.
hustling, and we just make it work. It honestly, I feel like it's one of those places where if you can make it here, you can make it
Yeah,
anywhere
yeah,
because you have to figure out a grind. You have to
yeah,
figure out like you'll
yeah,
do so many different odds and ends
yeah,
of jobs.
yeah.
And you make it work. And for me, I feel like Atlanta and Los Angeles
Mhm,
were perfect for me because you get the city vibe, but
mhm.
at a slower pace than like a New York. I've always
Yeah,
said I never feel like I could live in New York
it's a
because
lot
it's
of people
just
in New York.
you walking everywhere, you're
Yeah,
hopping in trains, and
yeah,
it's just so fast paced.
yeah,
But Los Angeles, everyone's chill,
yeah,
everyone's relaxed, everyone's drinking smoothies, and
yeah,
like honestly, I got on my health kick
yeah.
living in LA.
LA. Well, I think LA gives you. To me, I feel like LA is like it's a movie. Like when you wake up, it feels like a movie every day because you don't know what you're gonna see, you don't know what you're gonna run into, or somebody's actually shooting a movie.
Yeah,
At,
everywhere.
at any point in time in
Hmm.
LA, and it's amazing feel. You know what I'm saying? Traffic is terrible. And I don't know
Absolutely.
who got the worst traffic, LA or Atlanta.
Ooh, that is hard.
That's definitely
And
hard.
honestly, between those two and DC, because
Yeah.
DC is terrible as well. Because
Yeah.
I remember commuting. My first job out of
Yeah.
college before I moved to Atlanta
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
outside of DC, and that commute was crazy. But Atlanta is still the South, and people are
Mhm.
still slow. I think they take the cake.
Yeah.
They just take their time. If it's raining, any type of
Yeah.
precipitation, they just don't slow
Yeah.
down.
They want to be cautious at all
At
times.
all times.
There were no accidents, man.
Yeah.
But man, let me go ahead. I had a couple of specific questions I wanted to ask you. Because of your creativity and who you are, you started a lot of different things, right? So my first question to you is, what inspired you to start Renee Nicole Productions, and how did you envision its impact on viewers?
Wow, I think living in LA and being
Hmm.
so exposed to the entertainment industry helped me to like really figure out what it is that I wanted to do and realize that
Yeah.
I want to be a part of it.
Right.
I was writing out there, like I
Hmm.
said, I wrote for a web series,
Hmm.
and then I did some background acting and did some small acting roles,
Hmm.
and I just that bug bit me. Like I knew
Yeah.
that I wanted to be in the entertainment industry,
Yeah.
but then I got the inspirations of Issa Rae's and the
Hmm.
come on stages, seeing them do it themselves.
Yeah.
Like this is the only way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing my friends, my hungry acting friends,
Yeah.
striving acting friends who are like out here auditioning and not getting a role, and I'm like, I'm just not cut out for that. I want to do and there's stories that I want to
So
tell
yeah.
that I don't necessarily think that they're gonna write for me. So
Yeah.
why not do it myself?
And I was gonna say, I think that's where, when you try different things, you figure out what's for you, what's not for you. And then there's plenty of actors and actresses who created their own first.
Yes.
And then they put their self in there. Tyler Perry, for example.
Hmm.
He's a perfect example of, hey, I want to produce this, get the money, do it yourself, and
Yeah.
then you hire your friends, you hire
That's it.
yourself to bring your ideas and everything to life yourself, which I think that's unique in a way where some people realize that, some people don't.
Yeah.
I want to keep trying that, and that's fine too. But I think in today's age, we have the capability of creating our own
Yeah.
platforms.
And that way you're
Hmm.
never waiting for the next job because
Correct.
so many people that are actors and that even writers and directors are just
Hmm.
waiting for the next job.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have your own,
Hmm.
you hire yourself.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Listen,
That's the way
that's the
to do it.
best way to do it. I
Hmm.
mean, you make your own money, you
You have
control the
control.
narrative, you have control, and that's the word of control. Control
Hmm.
your own dreams, your life, and how you want things to be. proceed. You know what I mean? So, how do you approach blending comedy with your inspirational content without diluting the message you want to convey?
Mm, I feel like any story can be told through a comedic lens. Like I
Yeah,
feel like comedians in general have like the best. They're the best observers.
yeah,
They have to be.
yeah,
You know, because they're making fun of things all day.
mhm,
Even the most terrible circumstances, they're able to make fun of it.
yeah,
So I think that by for me, like I say,
mhm,
I really love intertwining comedy with inspiration because that way people can receive it a little bit better. People are always kind of skeptical when you say like you are inspirational
yeah,
or when you say you're Christian or whatever.
mhm.
So when you bring it in a comedic way, I feel like people are able to receive it better.
You think you're funny?
I feel like I can be. I don't know Kevin Hart. I'm no Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? But I like to look at things through a
No,
funny
I
lens.
think I think you're actually pretty funny. I think even when me and you are joking around, and we come up with some funny ideas, like, man, we should have recorded that. We should have,
Mm,
So our personalities are definitely very similar.
I have a very dry sense of humor.
Yeah,
So
I
sometimes
can see
it
that.
cannot,
Yeah,
people think I'm being sarcastic and
yeah,
I'm joking.
yeah. No, no, no. Your humor is great. It's great. Can you walk us through the creative process of producing an episode for A Name a Better Duo, which is
Yeah.
your podcast? So
Yeah.
let's
So
hop
I
on that.
have Name a Better Do a podcast, which started out as
Hmm.
an Instagram live show that I started in the heart of the pandemic in
Okay.
2020.
Yeah.
And it was just an idea. The title came to me, and the
Yeah.
idea, like, I'm just going to talk to my friends about
Hmm.
whatever they're working on
Hmm.
and just
Hmm.
inspiration, things like that.
Yeah.
And so I, was doing that for a year and then finally was like, okay, I'm ready to turn this into a podcast.
Mhm.
And with me, like, I always think of a few people I want to talk to.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I think of people who have similarities. So I might do like a theme for that
Hmm.
series or like, that season.
Yeah.
So like there was a time where I did like a healing series where we
Hmm.
talked about trauma, we talked about grief, we talked about just all different types
Hmm.
of things like that. And then I'll come up with questions that pertains to that guest, whomever I'm talking to. But lately, what I've really been inspired to do is just intertwine my faith with business
Yeah.
and with entrepreneurs and those who are doing something
Yeah.
like we just talked about,
Hmm.
on their own
Yeah.
ownership, to kind of bring that to the forefront and show how important both of those are and
Hmm.
how one kind of, needs the other in order to work.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, no. That's definitely good stuff, because everybody's process is different.
Hmm.
At the end of the day. But I think regardless of how your process is, at the end of the day, it's consistency, right?
That's it.
Consistency is the key of, to me at least, to anything, right?
Yeah.
When you want something to work, you gotta have consistency. You want to start a business, you gotta have consistency to make sure that you're, you know, on the right path. You're gonna make mistakes on the way, but
Hmm.
but being consistent in learning from the mistakes, or
Yeah.
what works for you, because everything you do may not work for me, but what I do may not work for you.
Hmm.
But it's a process, right? And we have to figure out what works for yourself
Hmm.
and others, right?
Yeah, I think consistency is the key to everything,
Yeah.
especially in a creative space. I think that I don't like to say I'm a creator because I believe everybody is designed to create.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
do
like
too. Yeah.
whether it be a podcast or whether it be a good meal, like you
Mhm.
are a creator,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I think that when you're in these entertainment spaces,
Mhm.
it can get a little challenging and frustrating because we have so many ideas.
So
We have
many.
so many things that we want to do,
Yeah.
and we want them all to come out. We want them all to be successful.
Yeah.
And I think that you know, part of finding that success is being consistent
Yeah.
in one or a couple things and
Mhm.
seeing it grow
Mhm.
and seeing it birth and then moving on and adding something else to
Yeah.
it. I think that with us, we get so, as creatives or
Yeah.
as people who like entertain or do things of that sort,
Mhm.
we can try to do so many different things at once and stuff always gets put on the back burner.
And again, as far as pressure, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're
Hmm.
just, some people have ideas and they don't do anything with it.
That's it.
I'm like, oh man, I I had that idea. You didn't do
You didn't
anything
do
with
it.
it. You didn't do anything with it.
Okay.
You didn't file the right paperwork. You didn't do it. So there's all kinds of stuff. But I totally agree with you. Definitely. With having experienced both coasts, How do you think your time in Los Angeles versus the East Coast has influenced your content and your creative approach?
Hmm. I think that consistency
Mm-hmm.
came from Los Angeles. I think that my grind
Mm-hmm.
came from Los Angeles because, like you said, everybody there is trying to get it, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I crave that again.
Yeah.
Just being around so many people who are in the same mindset. Like you always want to be around like-minded people, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I was around a sea of like-minded people in Los
Yeah.
Angeles. So being there really sparked my creativity. But I feel like I brought that back with me to the East
Yeah.
Coast because there are people like yourself,
Yeah.
people like the owners of the studio,
Yeah.
who are doing the work.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
said, is
Yeah.
actually doing it.
Yeah.
Like putting those ideas to paper and then actually doing it. So I think bringing that spark of
Yeah.
energy that LA brings is important here in the East Coast.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, just like I said, my time out there as well. I think it's also I would say friendly competition. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? In the sense, of most stuff, depending, especially with your friends and things like that,
Mhm.
it's building a network. It's
Yeah.
building, you know, people that you can vibe with that can help you on your
Mm.
journey. To because everybody can't do everything by themselves, regardless of how what they see fit. But also just having the right people around you to help build your dreams
Yeah.
while in the process of even helping theirs.
Yeah.
Because it's all there's room for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that. There's room for everybody, but I do feel like Los Angeles is definitely a place where you got to be on your grind.
Yeah.
Because if you sleep on it, somebody else is gonna beat
And
you
then
to
you
it,
ain't gonna have nowhere to sleep.
and you ain't gonna
Okay.
have to listen.
But
The homeless out there
you
is
said a
crazy.
word. You said come on. Your row is not it's a
Yeah,
real thing. It is
yeah,
very sad. Like I've never seen homeless rates like I saw there in Los Angeles. But what you
mm,
said about the collaboration, like we said,
yeah,
consistency is key. Collaboration is
yup,
key too.
yup.
You don't get all these C's today, okay? Collaboration is key because
uh,
no one has all the skills in the world.
yup,
There's somebody that's good at what you're
yup.
not good at.
Yeah.
And I think that's for me something that I definitely had to
Hmm.
learn because I'm like I just do it myself. If I want it done right, I'm gonna do it myself.
Hmm.
It's not gonna get done. And it's not
Yeah,
gonna get done effectively or
yeah,
at the best of its potential. Whereas if you collaborate with someone, find someone who can
hmm,
you can help them and I can help you.
yeah,
That's when we talk about Issa Rae, that's what she did. She
yeah,
pulled together a team of people. She's always about like the lateral moves, like
yeah,
finding the people next to her that can rise
yeah,
with her and elevate with her. And those same people are working with her
yeah.
today at the top.
And again, and that just shows you having the right people around you. Anything is possible.
Mhm.
No
Mhm.
matter how small, or even how big. I mean, you have the right people behind you to do the extraordinary.
Yeah.
To me, that's why I believe things are possible. Just having the right people with positive mindset around you, and just making it happen. Give it a shot. You never know. We live in a world today where technology is right here in the palm of my hand. So
Fingertips.
why not try it? At least try it and just
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah. We don't have excuses
You
anymore.
don't no excuses,
Yeah.
but yourself and being consistent.
That is
There's the
definitely
C's again. There's the C's
it.
again.
We're gonna write a book.
We can write a book, the C
A
book,
ebook.
a he book. All right. So, what challenges have you faced in the content creation industry, and how have you overcome them?
With consistency,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
you don't always see results. You don't
right,
always see the numbers.
right,
You don't always see money.
right.
Okay, because
That is
that's
true.
the main thing. Like
Yeah.
I've always said, because I always would maintain a full time job in the
Mm-hmm.
midst of doing my passion on the side, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like because I would feel like if I'm not making money, it's just a hobby.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and so with the consistency, even with the hours of putting in, because even before Name a Better Duo,
yeah.
before Renee Nicole Productions, I had a blog, disclosename.com, that I
I
ran when
remember.
I
Yeah,
was in
yeah, yeah.
Atlanta.
Yep, yep.
And I just found that Facebook page and I was like, man, I was consistent for like a
Yeah,
good 4 years. But I didn't make no money over that. When no checks coming in. So
yeah,
that's when you find out what you really love and what you're really passionate about. It's
yeah.
like they always say, would you do it if you weren't making any
Right,
money?
right.
And but at a certain point, you feel like a professional and you want to make money,
You want to have something. You want to see your
So
worth.
exactly,
Big
you want
so
to be
yeah,
able to turn your passion into profit,
yeah.
So I think that the biggest challenge for me has been remaining consistent when you're not seeing the dollar signs,
Mm-hmm,
and realizing why you're doing it,
mm-hmm.
what you're working towards, and continuing to build even despite those hard times.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, there's definitely challenges even for myself as well. Just kind of just a lot going on.
Yeah.
But time management to me,
Yes.
time management is everything, right? If you can do that, I feel like you can manage a little bit of everything, right? You know, try to you can't please everybody, but you can try to do the things that are important to you and understand that hey, I need to be here, I need to do this, I need to do this. But you know, again, you want to make sure what you're doing eventually pays off. Yeah. In a way where it says like, this is my result. Yeah. You know, money's not you're not gonna make, especially if you love something. You know, you can't necessarily expect everything to be done overnight. That's you know, a lot of stuff takes time. Yeah. Now, patience is a virtue, right? So you got to be patient. You got to take your time, and you'll get the results you want. And you're gonna wake up one morning and be like, man, like I remember when this was the
when.
remember when
I'm ready for that.
remember when
I remember when. But I feel like as an owner, as a creator, as an entrepreneur, that's the sacrifice.
That is true.
It's like you're not going to see the results right away, and that's what separates those who are successful from those who are not. Those who stuck with it, even in those times where they don't see the results.
That is very, very true. You got to stick with it, man. You got to stick with it. So you also have a YouTube channel as well. Your YouTube channel focuses on sensationalizing life experiences for inspiration and motivations. Can you share one of your experiences that deeply impact your audience?
Yeah, I started doing these, and this started actually with my blog. I started doing these midweek inspirations, and I had the blog I was doing was more of an entertainment blog at the time, and I found that I got the most feedback from these midweek inspirations, not the who is so and so marrying, not all that stuff. It was actually me just getting on there and typing what I'm going through and hoping that it inspired somebody else. So what I found for me that what people relate the most to is your transparency and your honesty and your authenticity. So being able to share your story, there's a reason why we go through the things that we do. It's not just for us, but it's to inspire somebody else. And yeah, my midweek inspirations. I recorded one this morning.
Oh
That's
so
funny. What was that? We're actually about to get back into it.
Yeah, what was it? If you don't mind sharing.
You don't have to click the link. Okay. All right.
No.
But no, it's very important because people need the motivation to keep going. Like we said, there's hard times, there's low times, there's peaks and valleys. So people need to see someone else going through what they've been through and overcoming.
So I'm glad you said that because it actually kind of maybe answered the next question I have for you. What role do you think podcasts and web series play in today's digital storytelling landscape? So I feel like what you were saying is right around that. But I'm sure you can go a little bit more in depth into it because with the access of technology and what we have, you know, we don't know what everybody's going through in the world. That's the crazy thing. Click a button where billions of people, and then somebody might just come across your platform like, you know what you just said, really helped me, inspired me. You had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like podcasts and web series, all those things, especially podcasts right now, are so important because anything you're looking for, like you said, we're so blessed to have these resources. Anything you're looking for, there's a podcast about it. You could be looking for, something about business, stocks. That's how I've gotten educated on stocks. It could be anything. You could be pregnant and I don't know, you're in your third trimester. You want to know about what happens in your third trimester. There's a podcast about it. So I feel like we are so blessed and fortunate to have that information because a lot of time my commute to work is me getting that free education from podcasts. So I just think that everything right now we have so much content, we have so many resources. It's a good thing. I like where it's going.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think, because of, I mean, that's why some people probably hesitate to even go to college or even go or further their education. For what? They have
what? You'll end up with this bill, or I could go to free 99 and get all the information I need. Okay.
I wish I would have learned this a couple years ago.
$1,000 ago. That's right. What I with it.
This is crazy. I'm sitting here like, man.
I'm still paying those loans back.
Yep. All of them. Listen, Biden. Listen, I filled some paperwork out the other day.
Do what you said you was gonna do.
Yeah.
I know it's not.
Go ahead. It's
levels.
It's levels. Um, yeah, and like I said, man, I think it's so great. It's a gift and a curse where we're at today with having, social media, having access and podcasts everywhere you go through the palm of your hand, your cell phone. You listen to it in your car. You know, hey, I gotta go to this birthday party. Yeah, we'll listen to this podcast because you're especially if you're motivated and you're just listening to web series or you listen to podcasts as a guide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without really whatever you paying for your phone service plus $5.99 for the podcast. It's like that's cheap compared to spending X amount of dollars to go to college and such and such. Not again, not very clear. College isn't for everybody, but the access that we have today is also very important. I mean, also one-on-one, person to person.
Yeah,
it just really depends.
I see the value in college. Yeah. Like for me, I went to college right after high school. It was a great transition for me into adulthood. I respect it. I had a great time in college. Yeah. I learned so much. I was very involved. So it was a great experience for me. Teach me leadership and to teach me discipline, getting up on time, and like just doing things on my own. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm studying all these different things that I'm not using today. Whereas if I'm just educating myself via, podcast, via research, I can learn the stuff that I need. Yeah. And take that and run with it. Yeah. And make money rather than be in debt. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I agree. I'm with you. How do you see Renee Nicole Productions evolving in the next 5 years? Man, I have so many visions. I was writing that this morning as well. I'm a big journaler. Yeah. So I just see it expanding. There's so many things that I want to do, and that's again where I have to hone it in and like focus on one thing. So you said 5 years. 5 years. Boom. 5. For 5 years, I see it growing into creating content for more than just myself, helping others produce the content that they want to see, and then also creating web series, creating sitcoms. Like I said, I love comedy. Yeah. So I love TV. So sitcoms is something that I really, really want to. I've already written a few scripts that I'm rewriting. So from there, expanding into film, that's something, future films that I definitely want to write as well. But right now, content creation is my focus. So within the 5 years, I see it growing phenomenally. No, you keep going the way you're going. Definitely, it could be sooner. It could definitely be sooner. From your lips to God's ears. Yeah, man. Okay. Listen. I think, especially you. You know, I don't know how to write scripts. You know what I'm saying? I know how to write an idea. You know what I'm saying? But then breaking it down, that does take a lot of time and discipline to even create that. You know what I mean? And then be able to push it out there and say, hey, this is your part. This is your part. We gotta remember this. Remember this. So I think writing scripts is pretty dope. You know, and I think that's definitely a talent for sure. Now with that being said, though, I got one final question. All right. So, what advice would you give someone wanting to start this journey that we're both in, but mainly content creation and podcasting? Like, what advice would you give, anyone else, male or female, to do what we're doing? Yeah, I would say find your niche or niche, however you want to say it. Like find your skill, your thing that you want to hone in on. Because it's so easy to get sidetracked and just have way too much going on. Yeah. I think that people who are looking for podcasts are looking for a specific thing, and they'll know that you are the provider of that specific thing. Right. So, like I said, whether it be on motherhood or fatherhood, or whether it be on being a young Black millennial in entertainment, like there's like specific things that people know to come to you for. Yeah. I think that's the first part, and then once you do that, make a plan. Okay. For podcasts, like you had the rapid question, like create segment, create something that they can expect every time they come to the podcast, so they're looking forward to that. There's so much power in consistency and in just like a format. People want to see that you've actually put some thought into it. Yeah. So create those things, and then the rest of it, to me, like the admin part of it is pretty simple. Like getting your name, creating your name, getting it linked to all the different distribution services like the Apple Podcast and iHeartRadio, wherever you want to put it. Do your research. So do your research, but it's that part's not hard at all. It's just, making sure you have a solid foundation that people are going to be interested in. There's an audience for everything. Find your thing that you are passionate about. Like, what do you do? What is something that is you? And I think first is finding out who you are, like knowing your identity. Like for me, I had to first establish what is my foundation. What are the things that are important to me, and I realized it was faith and finances and family. Those are things that are important to me, so that's the foundation of everything that I do. And people know that about me. I feel like my audience knows who I am. They know what I identify with. So I think that is the key when it comes to content creation, podcast, anything, is knowing who you are and establishing that early.
Hey, that boom. That was
boom, bada
boom.
bang.
Wow. Pew pew.
No.
Pew pew. No, I couldn't said it better myself. Like everything you said, Renee Nicole is on point. And my little 2 cents is just believe in yourself. Ultimately, at the end of the day, just believe what you can do, and having a support system behind you. And even when you have your bad days, which you are, what I'm saying, you're gonna feel less motivated at times. But you have a support system, man, and you believe in yourself. Good things will happen. And your dream will happen. But you got to be patient. Like as I said before, patience is a virtue.
It's a virtue.
It definitely is. Well, I mean, I think that's it.
That's it.
High five.
High five.
Good job.
Good job. That was
fun. This is the Platinum Experience podcast. Oh well.
Thank you for having me. I'm proud of what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, thank you for being here, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. So this is the Platinum Experience podcast. I'm your boy, Platinum J. See you on the next one.